Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the latest episode of the Genesys Cloud Community's Q&A show, the show where we answer your pressing questions in the Genesys Cloud online community. My name is Matt Lawson. I'm your online community manager, and today we have a special look at dynamic filtering. It's something that just came out, and we want to make sure you get a good demo of how to use it. Of course, follow up in the community if you have any questions. We'd be happy to help. We're also going to talk real quick about the contact list editor, contact list builder, and then give you a small preview, or at least let you know how you can get caught up on some of the great outbound features that are going to be coming up on our roadmap. So be sure you stick around for that. Before we get started, hey, we had a brand new video hit the community's YouTube channel. It's called Meet the Moderators. In it, our friend Nicole sits down with brand new moderators in the Genesys Cloud community, Sam, Cam, and Jason. She gets to know all three of them, and that leads seamlessly into our new Trivia Tower Challenge. Watch the video, head over to the Trivia Tower, see how well you know the guys, or at least how well you think you know them. Should be a lot of fun. But for now, I'm really excited to talk about these outbound features and help you all meet Ryan and Chad. Guys, welcome to the show. How are you?
Great. How you doing?
Good. Doing great. Awesome. Glad you could make it. This has been a funny episode for me because, Chad, I've known you for a long time. I remember first meeting you in person. We were talking in the community for a while, and then I first met you in person when we were in Nashville for Experience all the way back in 2018, I believe. But I'm excited because if memory serves me, this is your first time on the Q&A show. Is that right?
Could be.
I think that's
Very
right.
possible.
And a brand new friend here with us, Ryan. Welcome to the show for the first time.
Thank you, Matt.
I've gotten to know you guys a little bit, but our audience has not. Chad, we can start with you. Talk a little bit about who you are, what you do at Genesys. Give us all the great details.
So I'm the senior product manager for outbound solutions. So that includes our outbound dialing campaigns primarily.
My name is Ryan Logan. I'm a senior solution architect with Genesys. I've been with Genesys/Interactive for 12 years.
Real quick, what's the audience going to learn about?
Well, they're going to learn about some new features in Genesys Cloud that we're really excited to show. One is the contact list builder, which is going to allow you to ingest files, transform those files, and create contact lists from them. And then secondly, we're going to talk about the contact list editor, where you can see the contents of your contact list and filter on that, export it, delete them, or just make bulk edits if you need to. So
if you're comfortable, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah. And what we're looking at here is the outbound menu. So if I were to back up a level, just come into the admin section, we're going to focus on the outbound section and specifically in list management, where we've got some great new features that I want to talk about. So first, you'll see a lot more tabs than maybe you were used to in the past. And that's because of Contact List Builder. In a nutshell, what it allows you to do is establish contact list templates, which will then be used in conjunction with import templates and file specification templates to bring in what we think of as a master file. So let's think of that as a new concept, a master file, which can then be split into contact lists, right? So what it allows you to do is bring in one import, right? We're just managing one import, which can then create 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many lists you need based on the logic you input into the import template. So how does it work? Well, first you've got contact list templates, and this defines what the contact lists themselves will look like. So I have several different ones, but let's just jump into this collection template. And as you can see, it's not the contents of a list, but it's everything else, right? It's the, hey, this is what the format of this contact list will look like. These are the columns of data will be in this contact list. I can set all the other parameters around there. So the phone, work and home columns, the cell type of what kind of time zone method I'm using, whether it's automatic or I'm using contactable time sets. And then whether I want to use this certain attempt control setting or any other file specifications. If I want to turn on column date specifications, that is dynamic queuing, which is also, I don't know, Chad, if you wanted to chime in about dynamic queuing, that's actually a really fantastic new feature too with dynamic filtering.
Yeah. So back about a year and a half ago, we started looking forward at new features. The word dynamic comes into play, but really the basis for all this is something we call dynamic queuing, and really what that means is traditionally we have a queue behind the scenes of contacts we're going to dial. It's kind of a hidden queue. Now in the past and traditional, we build that queue at the start of when a campaign begins, and we just follow that queue on down the list. The whole concept of dynamic queuing is that queue could change sort, it could change different things about it, different attributes about that queue can change dynamically based on certain conditions or certain basically changes that customers can make. So our first kind of user of that dynamic queuing is dynamic sorting, and so that I think is what you just touched on, Ryan, where you can change the sort order of a contact list, and we will dynamically put that in place right away without having to stop or recycle the campaign. And so you could say, well, I wanted to prioritize balance, at the beginning of the morning, but now I want to prioritize days delinquent, and so then I can make that change. As long as dynamic queuing sorting is turned on, we would begin sorting by that field instead. That also leads up to a new feature we just released called dynamic filtering. So similar to dynamic sorting, if you change the filter while a campaign is actually running, we will respect that change while the campaign is running again without having to stop or recycle the campaign. And so what that means is if you filtered out records earlier in the day and you make that change to the filter to now include those records, we'll actually go back in time, grab those records that you already skipped and bring them back into the fold and queue them up for dialing.
Oh, that's awesome. So I was in sales and marketing for many years, and I guess I kind of want to take a step back if it's okay. I'm just curious, these lists that you're talking about, what's the best way to populate them to begin with? Is it automated? Do you upload a CSV? Is it pulled from a different source, or all of the above?
Well, that's a great way for me to kind of segue back into the contact list builder, because typically we'd do this via an automated process. We have Foundry partners that can, and even some of our own PS applications that can feed records in. However, with the types of records that we can support, we're no longer limited to just CSV or Excel. We can now accept any sort of delimiter. So whether that's comma, colon, semicolon type tab pipe, or custom as I'm doing here, and then even do some advanced search replace expressions. So if I need to normalize phone numbers or something of that nature, I can do that. After that, then I could go and, we can of course always do the browse. And in this case, I'm doing just a quick browse for a file that's delimited by my slash there. And so I can get a preview that everything's looking good there. And then after that, I can go ahead and save, right? Likewise, we can bring in fixed length. So if we have something that's just, fixed length based on characters in the file, so characters 0 to 7 are the first name, 6 to 19 are the last, etc. I can go and find a file that matches that format and bring that in and double check that that's all normalized as well. So just a lot of different options when it comes to the file types that we can support now. Once you've got the templates configured, right, and then once you've got the file specification templates, they really come together in the import template. And the import template's going to say, okay, I'm bringing in, again, think of it as that master file. And this is where I would say I want to use this contact list template, the one I showed before, and then perhaps even a contact list filter, right? I want to apply a filter to all of this this entire thing. Maybe I only want of all these files, I only want things that are 90 days past due. So it's going to look at that. Again, I'm using a pre-built contact list filter back in the contact list filter section. Now I can give this new list a name. I can just call it custom. And then there's this naming format which can pre-append, if you will, or append based on a character here. a list name prefix, a part number, a filter name, a column name, or even a date timestamp. And that's essentially so that you can sort of construct different lists based on what you're doing. In this case, I'm choosing to do the name, which is my prefix, which is my list format name, in other words, custom, which you see over here. And then I'm choosing the column value and a filter name. So I'm doing, in fact, I can even, make this a little simpler. Let's just do the prefix and, in this case, the filter that I'm going to use. And these are my filters. What I'm going to do is run my massive file first through this main filter, but then secondarily through each of these filters in succession. I say in succession because I'm using a waterfall approach. And what that means, Matt, is that as my file runs through, I'm saying, hey, run all of my, let's say, 100,000 records through filter A, this collection waterfall A. Anything that matches is going to remain and become part of that list, right? It'll be custom _ collection waterfall A, right? Only the remaining records will then get passed through waterfall filter B, and anything that matches will retain there, go into that list, and anything remaining would go through C. And then I can also create a remainder contact list, right? So a catch-all for anything that doesn't match the A, B, or C. If I turn this off, that would allow contacts that match all of the filters, or any of those filters, to be added to those target lists. So if, let's say, Chad's record was a part of that file, and he matched both the A and B filter, he would be included in both of those lists if I have this turned off. When you turn waterfall on, it's really ensuring that those records only land in one contact list. And then finally, when I hit save, again, what happens is I can then create those lists, and they get added, just as you can see here. So they get added with a prefix, and then whether it's the column value, as you see here, or it could be the filter name, you'll see those there. And you'll see that some of my lists are zeroed out. There's 0 records in there, and that's because I've been demoing a new feature, and that's the ability to go in, and I keep doing it to myself, but I keep going in and showing it because it's great. We now have this ellipsis menu over here on the right, Matt, where I can click that, and not only can I export, which is great, we could always do that, but I can clear the list, or I can edit contacts. And clearing the list makes clearing that list just as simple as a couple clicks, and that list is empty and maybe ready to be refilled with today's new information.
Okay, cool.
The edit, though, is what I really wanted to show, because that's what's really exciting. So I'm going to come up to this list, and I'm going to be careful not to clear it because I want to show information. I can either access it right from here, or I can actually click into the list itself. And now at the bottom of the screen, I have those same options: export, clear, or edit. But once I do that, I'm just going to expand this so we can see full. I have the contents of the contact list. Not only do I have those contents, but I have the ability to see the system columns, and I can turn them back on or off, showing me the actual results. So if this is a running contact, or running campaign rather, I can see what's going on. I can see that we left a message here at this time. We skipped this via a rule. There was no answer. I can start to see those results. So a really great tool, especially when you realize that you can go in, click on that record, and now do an update. So if Greg Westington's address was changed from silent to loud Prairie Nook, I can make that change, and that takes effect immediately. Not only does it take effect immediately, I can do this on a running campaign. It doesn't have to be a situation where the campaign stopped, I process a change, and then do it. And as Chad mentioned, with the dynamic filtering or sorting, a change, if you're using dynamic filtering or sorting, if a change is processed here, that can take effect immediately on running campaigns.
Is there a way to get the change that you make in this list back to like your original CRM? Or is it better to do vice versa? Make the change in your CRM and then upload a new list?
I would say in most cases, it's best to make the change in the CRM and have the CRM use the Genesys Cloud API to make the change in the contact list.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In most cases. So if, but there's going to be times where customers, perhaps don't want to do that, or they just have a different process, and you might want to do that. And you could certainly do that. Grab the file afterwards, export via API even, and update that information to an external system.
So if a change is made in the CRM, will your list automatically update? It would depend on if you've set up that API correctly.
That's correct. You'd want to make sure that you've got that CRM set with the appropriate triggers to send that change, and of course you need all the parameters, right? You need the customer's contact ID and of course the contact list ID to make those changes. But yeah, if you can invoke the Genesys API from that CRM, that's not an issue at all.
Okay, cool. And just to make sure this is all fake data, right? These aren't real addresses.
This is all fake data. Although, you may see my cell phone number in there a couple places, but that's okay.
All right.
I'll see that they're all changed to SMS.
Wow. How about that? Don't you love it when a demo goes right?
Yeah.
Well, that's super cool. Very neat. So you said this feature is brand new, just came out like last month, is that right?
Yeah, I believe it was. It seems like it's been longer, but it's about a month ago, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, cool. Well, everybody who's in the community and watching this, we'd love to hear your questions. If you have any questions about this particular filter, Ryan and I know how to get in touch with each other, so I'll do what I can to make sure those get answered.
Just one other thing I'd say is that in addition to being able to edit existing or filter process change, I can export, I can also delete. So if I needed to sort of effectively split a list, I could export them and then delete them, but also create a net new record. So if I wanted to add Matt Lawson in here, I could fill in all that fill in that cell or contact information and save. So just want to point that out as well.
That's all.
And you can also clear a list with a simple button now.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, cool. Well, exciting to see that these features are now available. And from what I understand, we have some top secret stuff that may have been announced on a recent roadmap presentation. I can't say any more, but maybe Chad can. Chad, what information do you have about what's coming up here in a little bit of time?
Yeah, I'll just give you a little tease at this point. We are doing some work around tracking right party contact classification. So was that right party contact a success, failure, or neutral? That's coming. We'll be doing a lot of work on our real-time reporting enhancements and building that out over several different iterations. So you can look forward to seeing that in the analytics workspace area. We'll be doing some work with adding some system values to our contact list filters, adding more ability to do some more complex record selection. Ryan showed you a little bit of the basics we have today, but we're looking to replicate some different query language, some more complex queries. Really, if you want to find out more, you can actually go to the Genesys Knowledge Network. And if you navigate to the Genesys Cloud Fundamentals underneath the Home tab, there you'll actually find our latest roadmap webinars. We actually did recently feature outbound as one of the deep dive topics. That actually was live yesterday. It'll take them a couple weeks for them to get that up on the website, but you can look for that webinar recording in that Genesys Cloud Fundamentals area, probably in August sometime.
Okay, great. And with the new features coming out, do you think any of them will be doing a beta test of any kind?
A lot of the stuff we're working on through the rest of the year, it's pretty cut and dry and clearly defined, so we may not see a beta for outbound for the rest of the year. But again, the whole reason being we can get the general availability out quicker.
Okay, cool. Hey, no complaints here. Awesome, guys. Well, thanks so much for stopping by. Really appreciate your time. And thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have any questions, again, try to find us in the community. We'd be happy to help you out. And when some of these new features roll out, I hope you guys can join us again.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, everyone, that concludes this week's episode. Just a reminder, meet the new moderators that are in the Genesys Cloud community. Sam, Cam, and Jason are all great guys. They can't wait to meet you, and I hope you feel the same way. They're going to be answering your questions, following your discussions, and sharing what they know, or at least what they've learned over their 14 years at Genesys. It's pretty cool, right? So watch the video, get to know them, then head over to the trivia tower and see just how well you think you know them. You might just win a prize. All right, that does it for me. Next time we do an episode, we'll probably bring the Joes back to answer some of your questions in the community. Until next time, have a good one.